So my last video was talking about 10 signs that you suck at Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was a very generic thing, and it was a lot more generalized, but I felt like some of the major sort of criticisms was that if people felt like it was excessively harsh towards casual players, quote-unquote casual players, whatever that means. You can check my description and watch a video down below and you can understand what my view is on the casual competitive thing. But I guess we'll spin it the opposite way, and let's look at the opposite end of the spectrum, the super hardcore competitive side. So today we're going to be looking at 10 signs that you suck at competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And these are going to be the try-hard players, the super elitist players that you've seen around, the really arrogant ones, and that's what we're going to be examining today. And hopefully you should be able to relate to this. And if you can think of anything else, then do leave a comment down below and tell me what your experiences are. So in no particular order, let's begin with the hand shuffling. Now, hand shuffling is extremely important in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because if I draw a card, my opponent can actually see visibly the card that I've drawn, and they can see potentially where I'm going to set it on the field before I end my turn. So it is important that you track your opponent's hand and see where they're putting their new cards and stuff. So hand shuffling is important. However, there are some people who are literally trying to create a localized tornado in the middle of the tournament with this excessive
And this
What's he doing?
is to go even further beyond.
for like the entire duel while I'm sitting there trying to just do a combo for like a minute, and all I can hear is this flapping constantly, this constant flapping. Now I understand some people just have a bit of a fidgety tick or whatever, and that's different, that's not the same thing, but excessive hand shuffling, please just stop. And now probably the biggest sign of a try-hard elitist Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, it's the guys who show up with the limited edition, hundreds of dollars Spellground and the graphing engineer calculator. I think it's like a TI-80 or TI-90 or something it's called. Anyway, so these are the guys that show up with some expensive-ass mat to a locals, and I'm just like, okay, well, personally, I wouldn't be confident with taking something that expensive just to locals, maybe to a big event or something. But, that's fair, and you can spend your money on what you like. Maybe you really, really do like that Spellground, and that's completely fine. But the calculator is what really gets to me, okay? This is the type of calculators that people who are like engineers and astronomers use to calculate things. What do you need this calculator for? Are you trying to calculate the orbit of the moon around planet Earth as it lets the sun's horizon reach a certain point, and then that's probably eventually going to be the time at which you scrub out this locals? I just don't understand. Like, what do you need this level of complexity in a calculator for, that you bring it to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament? I just use an app. Use an app. Use like Duelroid or something. It's the exact same thing. It's completely fine. Like, we don't need to have like this 4-dimensional calculation on the field trying to figure out, how many times has Scout been paid for this turn. Next, we have sharking. Now, I don't mean sharking because you've done a misplay and then I won't let you take it back. That's not sharking. That could be a whole video in and of itself, but basically people who obsess over the littlest things. The people who are like, your card sleeves, this one is slightly worn, judge, and it's like, come on, this is like, first of all, it's like local tournament. It could even just be like a friendly, and they're like trying to like shark you over like certain plays, like in a non-competitive environment, and you're just like, can you please stop try-harding? Like, can you just relax? Like, this is not anywhere near the competition that you would expect from a locals, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves, is seeing these super like trying to be pro players is doing all this like horrible sharking that just doesn't need to be done. And then we have the old format enthusiasts, so the guys who are obsessed with how good Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to be. They're always talking about how good Yu-Gi-Oh! Was in the past, how good that format was, how good this format is. We all have our favorite formats, and we all miss certain cards and certain decks from back in the day, and that's completely fine. Some people still play it occasionally, a little bit of goats here and there, some plant synchro, whatever. But there are people who are obsessed with it. Like, oh, this isn't real Yu-Gi-Oh! This isn't how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is supposed to be. Back in my day, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the best Yu-Gi-Oh! That was the golden age of Yu-Gi-Oh! This is nothing compared to the trash now. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, so can we go to game 3, or are we gonna have another monologue? The wannabe vendors, the guys who are trying to give you, you know, $20 of cards for your $100 worth of cards, and they're like, yeah, bro, I'm just trying to turn a profit, man. I gotta make money. I'm sorry, I can't go any lower than 63%. And I'm just like, number one, you're not a vendor. Number two, get off your high horse, Elon Musk, okay? This is a normal trade. There is no reason you need to strut up here with your 20 binders and 3 briefcases of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and tell me that I should give you, you know, this amount of cards for like your common MST or something like that, right? It's so dumb. And it's really cringy as well, because they're always like the really elite players who have to trade into their max rare best meta deck, and it's like, yeah, come on, like let's just relax here, all right? Let's not literally scam people out of money. The hurry up and play faster guys. Now, obviously, you should always play at a reasonable pace. You know, you don't want to like go into time generally. It is important that you keep like a good amount of speed to your duels when you're playing. But you know, if you took 20 minutes to like resolve the Fusion Sub-Zoo combo from back in the day, and then you have the audacity to tell me to hurry up after I've looked at my hand for 4 seconds in the main phase and tell me that I need to speed up, like, excuse me? Just you calm down, sir. I am not the one who should be told to speed up at this point, okay? Then we have the excessive table talker and the incorrect reads. So I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You know those guys that when you play against, they're like, oh yeah, you did this because of this reason, and oh, that's a mirror force, and it ends up being a TT, and it completely like blows them out of the game. You know, the ones who are like, I know what that card is, or it's like, okay, you know what, that's completely fine. I understand there's like a bit of mind games and stuff involved in Yu-Gi-Oh, but could we literally like not have like you just speaking at me in this like one-sided conversation for 30 minutes? I mean, I'm not even replying, and they're just sitting there like saying, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Oh yeah, this is definitely the correct play. Oh, you know, you misplayed there. You could have done this. I'm just like, yeah, I misplayed. Yeah, that's why we're in game 3, huh? Okay, sure. Backseat duelists. So there's the kind of players at your locals who will analyze every single play you do because, I don't know, maybe they finished your game early, and they'll tell you like in the middle of your turn or something, like, oh, why didn't you do that? You know, you could have did this. You know, that was a misplay. You could have done this. I'm just like, number one, I'm in the middle of a duel. Can you please leave me alone? Number two, if I want your opinion on what I should have done, I will ask you. Because it is important that you get feedback and try and get better as a player and see what you could have done differently. But there's a time and place for it, and it's not during this match, and it's not from someone I barely speak to, okay? And number three, you have perfect knowledge. You can like see my opponent's hand, and you can like see my hand and my grave and everything that there is on the field currently, and you have this perfect knowledge. So obviously you're going to probably come up with a better play, even if I did misplay. So, you know, can you just like understand that, you know, there's a difference between playing and watching a duel? You're always going to have, you know, different kinds of information depending on the perspective. Next we have the pro because I topped some locals. So every locals will probably have like a group of players or like 1 or 2 players who, you know, they consistently do well. They're generally going to top every locals, probably maybe even win it like every other week or something. And, you know, that's totally cool. Good on them. I'm really glad for you. And, you know, that's cool. That's a really good achievement. However, for some people it really gets to their head, and I mean really gets to their head. I've overheard people saying like, yeah, you know, I'm the best in my region. I win all my locals. Yeah, it's just trash here. You know, everyone's trash. These decks are trash. I'm the best, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, well, that's why you didn't make day 2 of this YCS, I see. Alright. Finally, the special snowflake meta player. I'm sure you've probably heard this at some point, but it's something along the lines of, what deck is this? What are you playing? I don't want to play against that. What am I wasting my time here for? That deck sucks. This deck sucks, man. I want to play against meta. I want to play against like a real opponent. What is this? That's the kind of player that I'm sure you guys have all interacted with. The special snowflake meta player. Now, I understand that it's probably a little bit frustrating for them if they are trying to test for an event that's coming up, or if they do really want to see how their deck works against other competitive players. But don't disrespect the person in front of you by calling their deck trash and saying that you're wasting time by playing against them. Like, just duel, and chances are that sort of attitude will probably put you on a bit of a complacent tilt and you'll end up misplaying. So you never know, you probably end up losing anyway. Well, that is my top 10 signs of a tryhard and a elitists competitive player who probably sucks at the game. I'm sure you all have amazing stories to tell me about some of the shit that you've heard at your locals and some of the people you've interacted with, so I'll be really interested to see some of those comments, so leave that down below. If you do enjoy my channel and if you do enjoy my content, you like this video, then please consider subscribing so you can get more content like this and you can see my videos whenever. Hit the bell button, and until next time, farewell.